It's Friday. You know what that means. It's Rapid Fire Friday. Trevor Vallese with me, Joey Wagner. I'm Jeremy Werner. Trevor, let's cue up the music. Let's dive right into it, man.
Okay, first question. The Illinois basketball staff has been high on Dane Danger this offseason. What's a reasonable stat line in your mind to expect from Danger?
This is not easy because we have 9 minutes of college basketball evaluation to work with. But look, let's be honest, like the hype train is kind of leaving the station a little bit at Ubben around Dane Danger. And they're excited for him, that's fine. But 6 to 8 points, that feel about right. 5 to 7 rebounds. I mean, that might be on the low end. I don't know, but based on the amount of information I have sitting in front of me, that feels kind of about as far as I can go with it.
Yeah, can I just, like, the one stat I think I'm willing to kind of predict is minutes per game. And am I too conservative in saying 15 to 20? Like, is that ridiculous to think 15 to 20 rather than like the 25 to 30 expectation that seems to be going around? Like, that's just plug him in there. Again, the guy's played 9 minutes, and I get it. He's got an intriguing skill set. You are hearing the staff even say more good things about him than Omar Payne. And listen, coming from Baylor, what we saw from him as a prospect, but I'm just not ready to expect Dane Danger to average 10 and 8 every game for Illinois quite yet. Maybe he does, but like my expectation on a team with Matthew Meyer, with Terrence Shannon, with Sky Clark and Jaden Epps, Coleman Hawkins, RJ Melendez, is he's going to be a complementary piece and one you need at the 5. But I also expect Coleman Hawkins to play some at the 5. I expect Illinois maybe to go small at times and maybe, really bother some teams that way. They're going to find a backup that I think could potentially play 10, 12 minutes a game. So I don't know. I think 6 and 5 playing in 20 minutes with a couple assists, I think that'd be a really good piece. How many guys in the Big Ten are averaging that in the post. So maybe it's 5 to 8, Joey. Maybe it's 4 or 5 rebounds. That's probably what Illinois needs out of its 5 this year, rather than the 20 and 10 guy they've had the last 2 years.
And I think getting out of the paint, like that, more than the statistical output, that ability to be able to play outside of off the block, like that value is probably more important than any numbers we're going to throw out there right now.
Following last weekend's commits and before next weekend's visitors, rank the top few remaining positions of priority for Brett Bielema for this class of 2023.
Yeah, Joe, I think the top 2 for me at this point right now would be wide receiver, and I would include defensive line. I know they added Jamarian Harkless, who's a big-time addition, but they got to find somebody that can continue to elevate that wide receiver room and continue to elevate the passing offense that has been so poor for Illinois for more than a decade. Malik Elsey's the guy we continue to talk about. We'll see if they can get Frederick Moore, some other targets who are visiting later this month, but I still think they need more defensive linemen in the long term. And then you look at the defensive backfield, like they need more quantity in the defensive backfield probably than any other position left in this class. But I just have faith that Aaron Henry and Ryan Walters will be able to find some good prospects. They got plenty of them visiting over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I have wide receivers number 1, too. And I know they addressed that pretty thoroughly with 4 commits in the class of 2022. But we're talking Malik Elsey still. He's still got a real chance here. So that elevates it because he could be a guy who can make an immediate impact. I've got defensive back, but I'm with you. Defensive back, defensive line are kind of like 2A, 2B for me, I guess, because, they have 1 defensive line commit, which surely isn't enough, but they're going to need to replenish in the defensive backfield. I know they did address that with guys like Elijah McCantos, Xavier Scott, Matthew Bailey. Those all take time, though, too, a little bit. So defensive back, and again, that big weekend coming up here, June 17th, I believe, is that official visit weekend. That's a really big chance to get a couple guys on board, and a lot of them are Florida defensive backs. Get used to it. That seems to be the direction here a little bit. But you got to get another defensive lineman. There's opportunity out there as well. But it's a big 3 for me there.
I want to mention Trev real quick. The good thing is running back, offensive line. I feel like linebacker and maybe even outside linebacker, you filled those spots for the most part. Maybe you add one or two more guys with all those positions, but now that part of the staff can really start focusing on 2024, and that might be a good thing in the long term.
And tight end is if we can get a really good one. It feels to me like if you can get a really good one, you take him, but you're not losing a lot of sleep over that positional recruiting area.
Ty Rodgers has been showing out for Team USA so far. Two-part question. A, is there a chance he might start right away? And B, do you think there's a chance he's only here a few years?
And Brad Underwood just quit listening to this because someone mentioned starters in the middle of June. Sure, there's a chance. I don't want to say there isn't a chance, but it's way too early. He's not even on campus. He's in Mexico playing for Team USA. It's hard to know, but they're certainly excited about him, and they're excited about his skill set, and you're seeing that skill set play out a little bit. And he doesn't, Cam Whitmore's dunking on the world down there, but Ty Rodgers is just doing a little bit of everything that doesn't get that kind of like highlight attention, but it matters so much. And is there a chance he's only here for a couple of years? Yeah, but I think you could say that about just about everybody that Illinois is recruiting right now at this level. The 4-year player, it's maybe not even as prominent in college basketball anymore with the portal and the professional opportunities. But I think Illinois is at a level where 2 to 3 years is like a sweet spot in that recruiting realm.
Yeah, listen, who are the starters? I think we can potentially say 4 guys are pretty locked in, right? It's going to be one of Sky Clark or Jaden Epps because you need a point guard. Terrence Shannon is going to start. Matthew Meyer is going to start. And Coleman Hawkins is going to start. So is it Dane Danger? Is it RJ Melendez? Is it Ty Rodgers potentially? I think Ty Rodgers comes off the bench. I think that's a great role for him as a freshman. And that means he can still play 15 to 20 minutes. The same thing with Melendez. Same thing if it's Danger coming off the bench. Those guys can still have huge roles on this team like Matthew Meyer had the last couple of years at Baylor, or Shannon had the last couple of years at Texas Tech. So I still think he could play a lot. And he just does things that are different. You can play small with him on the court. You can play big with him, potentially playing the 2 as long as you have shooters around him, right? I think he's going to make a huge impact as a freshman in a lot of little things. It might be averaging 4 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists and a steal and playing good defense, but I just think he complements other pieces so well. As for, is he only going to be here a few years? I would pump the brakes on that a little bit. Because one thing in the NBA you got to do is you got to shoot. You got to be able to shoot. And Ty Rodgers, that is his biggest question mark. So most guys who are going to be first-round draft picks have to shoot, especially if you're on the wing. And Draymond took him some time in college to prove he can shoot. I think Ty Rodgers comes into college a similar prospect to Draymond, but what took him to another level was being able to shoot 35+% from 3. And that's probably going to take some time for Ty Rodgers. And the good news is he doesn't have to do that right away to play a big role on this team.
Who's one Illinois football player we aren't talking about enough this offseason that could be a dark horse contributor for this team?
For me, Joey, we talk a lot about one tight end and Luke Ford. I think we need to be talking more about Tip Ryman. It would not shock me if Tip gets as many receptions, targets as Luke Ford. I think they're both going to play a lot. Obviously, Luke Ford has a really high ceiling. Could be an NFL draft pick. Could have been an NFL draft pick last year based on blocking and some of the workouts he could have done. But I think Tip Ryman is going to be a big part of this offense. He was last year, and we really didn't talk about him all that much. So he's the guy that offensively could be a huge key because you lose Daniel Barker, who's a big part of the passing offense, should have been a bigger part of the passing offense. And Tip at 6'5", what's he at now, Joey? 250. Great run blocker, gives you a big catch radius, and they've been impressed by him. So he's a guy that I think fans should get to know a little bit.
Yeah, I had him written down. I did an offense and a defense. I don't know if you want to go back and add a defensive player before I'll
go after you do your.
Defensively, I'll take Quan Martin. I think he was so good last year, and of course Kirby Joseph had an outstanding year, first team All Big Ten, got all sorts of attention. Sidney Brown had his best season, got all sorts of attention, and they should have But Quan Martin in the slot, slot, you don't always notice because you don't have to target it. And he just, they're really, really high on him. They think he's got next level potential. He's a guy I just don't know if we're talking enough about. And you took my Tip Ryman idea. Sean Miller. It feels like I'm maybe getting ahead of myself, but if you look at where this offense is and they need someone to step up at receiver, I think we might think a little bit differently if we would have seen him in the spring game. We did not. He was out with an injury, but he's a guy who I can see having a pretty, I don't want to say significant, but really getting opportunities in this offense next season.
Yeah, if I want somebody on defense, I think somebody that's going to have a spotlight on him. Don't know how great he'll be is Taz Nicholson at corner. They need somebody else to step up at that corner spot. I don't think we can talk enough about Seth Coleman in the athleticism, the potential he brings to that edge rusher. Remember, he got the starting spot last year from Isaiah Gay before an injury kind of stopped that, but he just gives him more length, more athleticism, more bendability, I would say, pliability on that edge. I think he could be really good. Like, I think his ceiling is higher than Owen Carney's, higher than Isaiah Gay. He's just not as proven as some of those guys, but he does have starting experience. I think he's going to be a huge part of what they do defensively.
I want to add honorable mention Josh McCray because we're talking so much about Chase Brown. It's like, hey, this is another running back who's pretty freaking good.
Illinois is now slated to play Texas at Madison Square Garden for basketball, but they will also play 2 of Baylor, UCLA, and Virginia in Las Vegas. If you had to pick only one of these events to go and cover, which one are you picking?
Wow, lucky for me, I'm getting 0. But I don't know that Jeremy would feel comfortable sending me to Las Vegas and hoping that he would get content back for work. So I would have to, for work purpose. I think I'd love to go to New York. I think that'd be cool. I would take that one. But Vegas would surely be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's the Roman main event because, while I think it could be a little ugly, maybe potentially for Illinois, kind of like Maui was a couple years ago, where you got this new team figuring out their roles against a Baylor potentially, against a team, that they're playing like it. That could get ugly pretty quick. But at the same time, it's in Vegas. It's 2 games in 3 days. That's a perfect weekend for Illini fans. You get to enjoy a little bit of Vegas. You get to watch the games. That would be mine. And listen, I've been to New York. There's some cool things to do. I think the 9/11 Memorial Museum is one of the things people need to go see. But New York, not so much for me. I'd rather go to a Boston. I'd rather go to a Chicago, to be honest with you. It is so crowded in New York City. So I'd rather go to some place like Vegas where it's a little more wide open and everything's just close to each other pretty much in Vegas. So I'd rather do something like that in the heat rather than Christmas time, New York, hustle and bustle.
Is it a hot take to say of those 3, I would want to play Virginia least? Just feels like that would be a game where Illinois scores 42 points and everybody freaks out.
Entertainment value for sure, and you already played Wisconsin a few times, so you don't need to play Wisconsin Junior, or I guess Wisconsin on steroids again.
Okay, any quick thoughts on the NBA Finals, and what is your title pick? I know we're already halfway into the series here, but who are you picking to win the Finals?
I mean, I'm going to take, this feels like I'm cheating saying this and so up 2-1, but someone on the Warriors has to step up, and if they don't, someone not named Steph Curry. If they don't, it's Boston. The way Jaylen Brown's playing, he's really taken that step, and you have 2 just star wings with him and Jason Tatum. I'll take that. Now, if Clay can get shooting or Jordan Poole can get shooting and Steph can get some help, then it might be different, but Boston feels like the move right now.
My take is the Boston Celtics are the kind of model of what Illinois wants to do. And you've seen them load up on the wings. You see them have a non-traditional kind of big now, Dane Danger, Coleman Hawkins. That's kind of what they do with their front court. Al Horford's really more of a 4, right? Williams more of a 4. And they just have a bunch of long wings, and you see what that can do defensively for a team. And defense still matters. Like, they can get up and down the court, and offensively they can be good. They can multiple creators, but they really don't have a true point guard, right? Like, Marcus Smart is a point guard and who he can guard, but he's more of just a stand-up shooter. But they have some creators who are really tough to handle, and all that length, all that athleticism really bothers other teams and just gives them such a matchup issue. Steph Curry goes off, but they're really limiting everybody else, including Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson coming off that injury. So if Illinois fans want to see what Brad Underwood wants to do, it's what is making Boston so successful right now, and really what made Milwaukee so successful last year.
Unprofessional tie-in back to the program we cover. Look at that, Jeremy.
Well, this ties into nothing, but finally, we were going to discuss our favorite movie theater snacks, but then Joey said he doesn't go to movies, so I don't really know where the question is in here, but I think it's time to just roast Joey again.
Joey,
I know snacks. I know snacks. We can talk snacks. I'm good at those.
Saying you don't go to movies is like saying I don't like music. Like, I can't understand why you wouldn't want to go in a movie theater, watch a movie like Top Gun or some big budget film, and just sit there eating popcorn, enjoying it on a big screen, surround sound, the experience of doing that. Like, did you go see The Dark Knight or anything like that? Star Wars, Lord of, like, did you not do this stuff? Like,
You know, you're in high school, you need somewhere to go, but it's probably been like 12 years since I've gone to a movie theater. I have no interest in paying that money to go sit somewhere for 2 hours where I can't even pause to get up and go to the bathroom or get more popcorn. God, this is such an old man take. This is horrible. I don't have interest in it. It doesn't sound fun to me. You got to go, and I like to lay down. I'm a big fan of laying down. I can lay on my couch.
it's because you have to deal with people, isn't it? Like, other people are in that theater.
I like to lay down, dude. That really, I cannot stress enough how important it is that I get to lay on my couch and watch TV. And I have popcorn here. I like.
Have you ever had movie theater popcorn, by the way? Because it's better than the microwave stuff you're making at home.
Hey, we're all friends here. I do like movie theater popcorn and a blue slushy. So that's a mix. That's all I need. Give me some Sour Patch watermelon if that's on the table. That's great news.
Trev, what do you go with?
I don't even know how to follow up any of that, first of all, but I've probably been to 12 movies in the last 2 months, and he hasn't been in 12 years. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of eating a snack during the movie. I just, like, if I have a little box of something, I want to eat it beforehand. I can't see it in the dark. I like to see what I'm eating.
Why are we so weird?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like eating a snack during a movie. I'm just saying when I'm at a movie that I want to watch, like, I just don't like being distracted with opening a box. I want to have it set. What's Torin's favorite snack? That's what I want to know.
What do you like to eat during a movie? And you got cough. Yeah, I would
That was
go
just as
with
good as Joey's take, the cough.
big tub, not the little one. Big tub of popcorn, big pop. And if you're gonna go with a snack, I go or with the candy. I know Lante loves the Milk Duds.
It's the best candy you can get. At a movie, it's Milk Duds. Put a Milk Dud in with the popcorn. Oh.
I'd go with the Raisinets, the chocolate covered raisins.
Are you kidding me? I have the worst take, and of all the candy, you're getting freaking Raisinets.
Yeah, chocolate covered raisins. What's wrong with that? Sweet on sweet. At least I go to movies.
This is terrible.
One
This
that
is
I'll
off the
only get
rails.
at the movie theater that I do kind of like is the cookie dough ones, like the little
Ooh, yeah.
cookie dough bites. I don't even see them anywhere else, but I'll get those if I'm at the movie theater.
I mean, if you go that often, could you bring me back some cookie dough bites next time you go?
I got you.
All right, that'll do it for our rapid fire. Let's see who gets roasted the most after this one. Appreciate you watching. Everybody have a great weekend. Go see a movie. Unlike Wagner, and I suggest Top Gun. Is there some Marvel, like the 80th Marvel movie out that you want to pub here, Trevor?
Well, Thor doesn't come out for another month, but Thor 4 comes out in July. But I thoroughly enjoyed Top Gun, so I'll co-sign you on that one.
Thor 4. It's like Thor 8 in a couple years. Is that how it works with Marvel?
Or more great Thor movies. I don't care. I'm not complaining.
Too many of them. Too many of them. That's my hot take for today. All right, everybody have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week on the Illini Inquirer YouTube with our Daily Dish series.